Good morning, YouTube fam. So, alright, so it's a nice, lovely Sunday morning, and we're going to try and get some action on our 955 project today. Haven't really touched it since the beginning of this week, so today's the day. Yesterday I was busy with other projects. As you can see out there, a little chicken coopage. Yeah, so thanks to the wife there. You know, I do what I can to please. So anyway, so today is gonna be to where we put the engine back in the frame. That's gonna be kind of my plan. So, all right, one of the last videos fixed the engine mount. Sorry. So fixed the engine mount. Got the isolators in. We ended up not going with rivets. I went with stainless screws. Think it's going to do well. If it doesn't, it'll be okay. I'll just pull it and put rivets in. I think it'll be all right though. So anyway, we're going to put mounts on today. I'm going to get my cherry picking lift out and go ahead and start that. And I bought some oil. I'm going to go ahead and do an oil change on the engine, put the new filter on and everything. That way it's ready. You can see here I haven't really made any more progress on the harness either. So I'm also going to do that first. That's actually going to be the first thing that I do. I'm going to go ahead and finish finalizing the removal of the old harness and grab the new one, at least lay it in to where it's ran underneath the bracket. I can kind of persuade the bracket over again to lock in the harness, and then essentially everything is ready going aft as far as harness layout. Yeah, so anywho, got the old 445 pulled out. There's a little something kind of poking out there. That'll be a later video. So anywho, all right, I'll check back in a little bit. I got to get set up and everything, and hang tight. All right, so since the last little snippet, the starting point of this morning, kind of got ahead of myself a little bit. Had a little go juice and started doing some things. So see some oil on the ground and a different filter. So yeah, I dumped the oil. It looked pretty good. There was a little bit of clumpage in there, but not horrible by any means. No water came out. It just looked like it was just kind of old stuff. So anyway, filters in there, new filters there. It is not the John Deere filter. That's okay. I have one of those on the shelf. Again, what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to load this with some good old Rotella and a crappy filter and basically run it for 10 hours or whatever it is after this bad boy is all ready to go. And after a little bit of running, I'll change it out with a good old JD. So anyway, again, a lot of this stuff, in my opinion, I'm just kind of wanting to at least run and flush the system, kind of get it going, and then after 5-10 hours or whatever of runtime, if everything's good, then I'll dump fluids and actually go back with some good stuff. Regardless, I mean, what I'm putting in is definitely a heck of a lot better than what's there currently. So still positive. Anywho, all right. Well, bam! Check it out. Got the mounts on. Fun little side note here. Whenever you put these on, if anybody is wanting to change their mounts, to get this bolt in, and the same thing for the other side, you got to dump this isolator out. I had to loosen it basically to where it was falling out to be able to get the bolt in. Just a little pro tip from a non-pro John Deere guy. Yeah. So anyway, that's up. That's up. This mount is on, and basically I'm gonna go ahead and sit this thing in the cradle. So I'm gonna set the camera up and see if maybe I can do like a bit of a time lapse on this thing. All right, guys. So hopefully you can hear me. All right, this is kind of gonna be a solo op today. Yes, haven't touched the harness, kind of getting all over the place. There's plenty of room. I can get to it after the engine's in. I'll just do it then. So anyway, get this thing sit in its place. Yeah, so continuing. All right, guys, look at that. In the frame. So, okay. So basically, yeah, the bolts aren't tight yet. I gotta go through and just make sure they're, put nuts on and torque everything down. Noticeable difference though, as far as clearance goes. Let me see if I can get the camera here. Oh yeah, we got half of an inch probably between the flywheel and those headlines that have been touched, kissed, whatever you want to say. Yeah, so looks pretty good. I'm gonna kind of, I'm gonna kind of muscle this thing around a little bit just to make sure. I want to make sure those isolators are pretty much dead on between the pads. I need to torque down the drive shaft. It's very close to being to the spot that it needs to be, so the bolts can line up. So I'm going to get that also put in place, but all 4 bolts are aligned with their holes, and yeah, so wait, feels nice and cushiony now. It's kind of nice. All right, back at it. Okay, guys, so all right, got all the engine mount bolts in, except this one. this right hand aft bolt is a bit of a challenge. The one on the back on the left side was as well, but I was able to get that on there with some crazy finger action, you know. This one's going to be a little bit more of a bit of a bear. But anyway, we'll get it, no worries. I got the drive shaft hooked up, all the bolts ran in nice. So that's a pretty good win there. They went in a lot easier than they did coming out. So that's great. I got room over here to put the harness in, so I'm not too concerned with that just yet. Stupid harness. Alright, so I'm going to stop getting sidetracked and finalize this harness change. There's not a whole lot, though, that I can do with the harness right now because, you know, I still need to get some gauges. And haven't done that yet. Kind of forgot about it, to be honest. So might try and look around today, see if I can find some gauges. Yeah, I'll get that coming. On the way. So, yeah. So I'm thinking for today, that might be what I try and do, is at least get the new harness up in the frame rail and, maybe go ahead and start hooking up the engine. Pretty much I'm gonna leave the tank out, the fuel tank out, so I can work in here. But I'll just take the bird's nest of harness and all the light bulbs and everything, kind of stuck it in here for right now, or stick it in there until I can finalize the dash panel. But I'm kind of thinking about if I get the, if we go ahead and get the harness laid in. Let's check this side out. So, I mean, our mount bolts are done. So I got the alternator on. I'll go ahead and throw the starter on. And, basically, I'm kind of thinking about maybe just going ahead and putting everything back together on the front end. Maybe. I'm not sure. I really want to find a water pump. I can get the thermostat. I don't know why I haven't ordered one of those yet. I'm thinking that one's probably good, but I might just change it just because it's a nice thing to do. But I would like to change the water pump as well. Might not need to be changed, but it's kind of like some good insurance. I don't know. It's definitely easier to get to like this versus with the front end all together and the radiator shroud and all that stuff. I mean, it's not hard to take out, but I mean, it's less purging. Kind of on the fence about just throwing it all together and at least getting that initial run out of the way. I don't know, because I kind of want to start seeing a little progress, at least on the front end. The back end is going to be the killer. But yeah. So, and anybody that's concerned, right? So we still know we got to basically rebuild the front axle. I'm not too concerned with it right now. Again, I want to try and get this thing to where it's running first, and then push on to front axle stuff and making it pretty and whatever. But I'm kind of thinking after that point, or once I get it to where it's fired up and running, I can use it for 5-10 hours or whatever it is, or a little bit, just, you know, at least get it going. That's kind of my plan. Then I'm going to attack the front axle. And then the prettiness things. Prettiness? I don't know, maybe I just made that up. Yeah. But the front axle is not hard at all to take out. It's literally one bolt. I think the bushing that's in this one is gone. Let me see if I can do it now with the engine up. Okay. So, if you can see that thing moving, when there wasn't a lot of, when the frame was light with the engine up, I did this earlier, kind of just shook the axle. And this pivot arm here that's made in the body, it was just completely floating. So my thought is that there's probably a bushing in there, brass bushing or something, or a pin. Obviously there's a pin if there's a bushing, but whatever the hardware is in that attaching boss of the axle, it appears to be completely worn out, and that's fine. structurally it's okay. It's gonna work just fine, but it's just gonna be a little loosey goosey, and that's okay for right now. When I get to that point, it's literally 2 hide lines for the steering, the drive shaft, and then the 1 pin/bolt. I'm thinking it's a pin because looks like so we got a plate here with two bolts in it that locks it in. And that pin probably just slides through. It looks like there might be a nut there. No, there is no nut. It's literally just a pin. So that's very, very quick and easy. That means I don't even have to go underneath the engine. Pull the plate off, pull the bolts off, the whole pin, boom, slides out, the axle drops down. Quick and easy. Like I like it, right? So yeah, anyway. Not concerned at all with that. Alright, so I'm going to continue on. Probably do some harness layouts, and yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking I might just go ahead and just toss it all back together. I got a new drive shaft cable. Oh, not a drive shaft cable. What am I talking about? The tack cable. I have a new tack cable. It's in the drawer here in the toolboxy box. So I'll slap that on. But again, I don't have a tack gauge, so it's not going to go into anything right now. I mean, realistically, you don't need the tack and all that junk to start it, you know. But I don't know about doing that right now. I mean, I'm gonna get the tank cleaned out today. I think I tested the fuel sender. Put a little ohm meter on it, and it is the sweeper arm in here. I don't know if you guys know how these work or whatever. Pretty common, at least in the airplane world. This is what these. I mean, these little airplanes use this kind of junk. I say junk. It's not really junk, but it's just kind of cheesy. It's basically a bunch of wound copper wires around a little, like a wafer tab, or maybe. What is it? It's like it's not fiberglass. I'm having a complete blank out right now. It's basically some form of composite, but it's non-conductive. And basically, this little arm. I don't know if you can see this or not. No. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So there's 2 wires hooked to basically to this little sweeper. One is connected to one end of the wound wire, and the other is connected to the arm itself. And basically what happens is whenever, you know, okay, for instance, tank level is down, depending on how the gauge ohm/resistance is wired. Some are like a low high and a high low. So basically like low resistance equals 0 gas. Yeah, you can't see that. And then high resistance equals full. Or it's the opposite. High resistance is full, low resistance is low. Like low fuel. So anyway, that's what happens here. So this one, I'm not sure how this one's designed, but basically if it's down like that, you could have, 4 ohms. And then when it starts going up and up and up, it goes from 4 ohms to, 25. This one's now 60. This one's now 120, and then it goes like to I think 240 is like the typical for like boats and probably tractors and things like that. But anyway, it operates off resistance. So pretty simple design, little ingeniousness there. So regardless, anyway, that's my long spiel. I've tested this. It tests fine. That means wiring is good. I don't need to resolder anything. It all checks for right now. I'm going to clean it up a little bit. I did add a hose to it. I'm probably going to try and get that hose up a little bit higher. But there's probably about almost about a ½ inch of barb poking into the hose. It's solid. It's definitely not coming off, but I might try and stick it up there a little more. And then I put the here we go. I put the pickup on it. This little guy right here was floating, or not. Oh my gosh, it's not floating at all. It was in the bottom of the fuel tank, about right there, in that very, very bottom area. It was all the way to the bottom. So I did not see any remnants of a like a hose for that in the tank. You know, when I pulled the tank apart and looked in there, the only things that I saw that came out were the little spout for a fuel tank, and then like a seal for a cap, it looked like. Not a whole lot of trash in there, but definitely with some trash. So, yeah. Anyway, all right. So that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to go ahead and I'll finish basically the bolt install. I'll clean up the tank. I'll go ahead and put the harness inside of the frame rail. And I might just say the heck with it and start putting all the front end together. I mean, really, what's the worst that could happen? If I did fire it up with no gauges, you know, I might just live on the edge. I might go ahead and do that. Who knows? Who knows? So anyway, all right. Back with you later. No good, guys. It's no good. Quick little update. So, been doing some work. Father-in-law's over here. We're just trying to get some stuff done. Haven't really been able to film a whole lot, but check this out. Engine's in. Fans up. Everything's on. Wire harness. Check it out. Yeah. Bolts are all tight. Engine bolts. Drive shaft. Engine-wise, we're looking good. Looking real good. Check this out, though. Uh-oh. Roll bars off. Uh-oh. Oh, goodness. It's very bad. Very, very bad. Very bad. Not good. Everything's seized. More to follow here in a second. We're about to get back into this, but... Oh! Brakes are all locked up. Water, salt water, definitely got in there. Brakes are toast. Everything's toast. Bearings for the PTO. Check it out. Rusted. So this is going to be a full rebuild for sure. We're about to be some John Deere experts. All right. All right. Well, we had a lot of action with not a lot of filming, and I do apologize. So, I have a father-in-law over here, and I don't know. We're kind of the people that you know, we start getting into something, and then it's just kind of like, wow, that escalated really fast. So, yeah, there's a lot going on in the back, as you can see. Yeah, I'm going to come back over there in a second. But, anyway, got some good progress today. Got the whole front end, basically. Well, I say the front end, not the front end. The engine. The engine's back in place. I think I already showed you that stuff. This is a few hours since the last snippet that's going to be in this video. So, like I said, mounts are in, tight, everything's good. The harnesses ran. Harness is all tidied up. I don't have the cutoff solenoid in just yet for two reasons. So, one, the bracket that the strainer, the fuel strainer, attaches to is snapped right there. So anyway, I'm still on the hunt for that. So yeah, that's why that's not together. But also, I noticed I pulled the shutoff solenoid out for the first time, which is kind of against what I typically do, but whatever. It's an eBay buy. I know, yes, probably shouldn't do that, but whatever. So, typical eBay fashion. Some of the stuff is very, very weakly designed, and I don't really care for how that thing feels in my hand. I'll just be honest here. I can show you. I think it's like a universal. It's like a universal deal here. Hold up. Here we go. I don't want to spoil the surprises over here. So anyway, let's put it on the tire, I guess. Okay, E-Beige. It's like $30. This thing, I mean, there's like, I don't know. It just feels very cheap and kind of weak. I'm sure it works enough, but I don't know. I'm not very happy with it. It feels, like I say, it feels just very cheap. And yeah. So I might put it on. I don't know, if I get to a point to where I'm ready to actually turn some diesel into noise, then maybe I'll throw it on. But at this time, being I got the strainer, kind of waiting on that as well, it's really no point in putting the thing on. But regardless of that, engine is basically, I mean, the front end is essentially ready to go. Got the belt on, alternators on there. Whoops, forgot that little ground wire there. But the harness is ran behind. I'm probably going to put some more harness wrap on it over here, just to kind of keep it away from the block. As I said before, we got the bird's nest of the goodness up here. I'll be tidying all of that up kind of once I get some gauges and, you know, all those things. But fuel tank is cleaned out enough anyway. Got the cap on. I know I said also that my sending unit was good, and it was good. And then I started playing with it, and I was actually showing him, my father-in-law, what was going on with this thing. And one of the copper wire coils, it actually broke while I was showing. So that didn't really pan out to what I was really wanting to do. So anyway, I will need another one of those now, because now it's an open circuit. It's not working. So, but right now it's good enough to hold fuel. That's something I can easily change once it's even with the fuel tank in situ of the frame. So all good there. Not worried. Drive shaft is torqued to the flywheel, flex isolator plate deal. All is good there. Yeah, I mean, honestly, dude, front part of the tractor is pretty much ready to go back together. I mean, it could. Not a big deal. So, as you see here, check it out. We got the roll bar off. It's sitting over there in the side. And, oh, yeah. So, found a lot of things. Let me get my torch over here. Okay. So, check it out. We have major water intrusion here. That is, so as it is now, it's better than it was when we first pulled it out. I wish I had some footage of us while we were actually in work of this thing, because I've definitely like, there's lots of deep creep and maybe a little bit of, you know, brake cleaner going on in here, and it still looks like this. Actually, this is a pretty decent shot right there. That is not sand. I believe it is salt. So, can confirm that this thing did flood. I'll show you on the back side of the case in a second where I believe the water probably stopped. But if you look at the bearing, so this is the roller bearing for, look, get out of the shadow there. That's the roller bearing for the diff, and you can see that on the bottom, that's rust. So the bearing itself it's locked up. It does not want to move. If you see all that other happy jazz in there, yeah, it's nasty. We still can't get the high, low, neutral selector to move. It's same pane as this as far as altitude goes, right? There is a bleed hole, essentially like for the oil to run through. On the other, like on the inside, you can see it going through to the forks in here. Guaranteed, from what we see here, I'm almost positive this side of the transaxle is looking the same way. So it will 100% have to come out of the tractor to be fixed, which means all the linkages need to be pulled apart, all the hydraulic valves up top need to come off. Basically the whole top end of the transaxle has to come out. So that's going to be great. So the brakes, so we pulled this one out. This is the right side. The brakes kind of just fell out, which I believe that's what they're kind of designed to do. It's a pretty ingenious little design. The material looks pretty bad. There's really no brake material left. I mean, there is, but it's really worn. So, yeah, but look at, I mean, if you look at that, try not to get too much of a glare here, but it is, I mean, it's rusted, salt, it is nasty. Like it, 1,000% has to be changed. But here, I tried not to clean this. This is the bottom of the axle. I mean, let me see if I can get a, where's my pointing device? Oh, I'm not prepared. Okay, here's a punch. Here we go. Whoop, there we go. All right. I mean, that, to me, that's crazy. That's not good. Not good, not good. So, yeah, okay, so with all that, so the brakes, so one problem is when we were messing with this, so this is the brake lever that goes straight up to the pedals and everything. The brakes wouldn't really move. And we were wondering, like, what the heck? Why don't the brakes want to move? And so tapped on them with hammers and everything is still the same way, not really wanting to do anything. Well, kind of found out why, obviously, if the diff is seized. And we found that the axle in this housing is seized as well. The bearings and everything is locked up. I've got this thing out free, and it will not budge at all. Like it'll kind of rock back and forth very slightly, but it won't move anything other than that. Let's see. I did notice this as well. I think it goes this way. So you can see. So that's actually how the brakes work. They're on this little like half moon kind of cam assembly, and this shaft right here, this actually splines into the differential in the tractor, like in the body. The right side actually came off pretty easy. The this shaft here just rides on the right hand axle housing. That little shaft and everything is that's your differential lock. So the heel bar pad thing that you push down with your left heel on the left side of the tractor, obviously where the foot pad is, that's what that actuates. When you push that thing down with your heel, this shaft just rotates. I forgot which way it goes, but one way or the other. And I'll show you in there. It basically swings a like a shift fork almost against the differential, and then the gears aligned in that differential, and that's what basically locks the two axle halves together to give you full positive traction on the rear. So on the right hand side, that shaft just rides in here. So basically, when I pulled all the bolts out of the housing, working it, and getting off the dowels and everything, boom, it came off. Brakes did their thing, whatever they're gonna do, but they essentially came off. Yeah, so that was all good. Brakes here, you can see I'm moving it, so everything seems to be semi-okay. I don't know if you can see this shaft, but when I do that, the shaft actually rotates slightly, this shaft, but then it gets tight. And you can see where the gearing is. When I do that, it really starts to pull hard against those splines. That's because this shaft floats in this like brake housing, and then it basically goes into, I'm assuming it's probably an inner outer kind of thing. These splines probably mesh to the inside of that axle or vice versa, and that's what connects the two. Because I mean, I can pull that up, I can see it float. That is, this guy is technically separate from the actual giant axle shaft. From what I can tell, I haven't really pulled a parts list on this thing yet, but just using a little common sense and mechanical know-how, I see bolts underneath this brake plate, so it appears that once I pop these springs off, this brake plate will come off. I should be able to pull this out and then pull the bolts around it, and then this giant plate will then come out, and that'll release the axle itself. Maybe there's like a snap ring holding the axle in or something. I don't know yet. But looks like it's not going to be too bad. Like I said, I got a press and everything, so I can use that to punch what I need out and press everything back in. Should be all good. But it's definitely not the best news. Just seeing all the corrosion and everything in here is just, I don't know, it sucks. That's really the only thing I know what to say about it. It just sucks. But it is what it is, right? It's all for a good cause. It's going to be an awesome tractor once it's done. Just, you know, we just like lots of headaches and cursing, I guess. So anyway, all right. So that's that. So essentially, it's my white leg there. Right side axle housing to axle assembly and slash brakes completely frozen. So that might be why the right side did not want to move. Possibly. Alright. On to the back half here, or the back plate. So we got that off. It does have a spot here that's busted off. I'm not sure if that was due to some kind of kickback or something. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I did notice too that there's really, I don't see any kind of like flange for replacing this collar. I'm hoping that maybe once I start cleaning it up, I can actually change it out, but to be honest, it kind of looks like it's part of the whole assembly, like the whole cast assembly. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. So spin it around here. Okay. Obviously, that's going to be all gooey. So to me, it appears that the water level came to about right there, ish, somewhere kind of along this line. Because you can see all the rust and goo and everything that's standing on the ridges, but I don't see any up here. Like, that's completely clean for the most part up there. And another reason why I say that's the kind of my guesstimate as far as the water flooding issue. Actually, might as well just look at that now. Okay. I'm gonna get my other seat. Get a little more mobile here. Sorry guys, I'm not prepared. Might be. Alright. Okay, so Again, this is after a little bit of cleaning. I haven't really cleaned the bottom of it or anything, but definitely been in here juicing it up with some penetrating oil and whatever. But if anybody wanted to see what the guts of a 955 transaxle looks like, here you go. PTO shaft right there. So if you look at that bearing, trying not to blind you with this light, but it appears that the bottom of the bearing has rust on it, but the top doesn't. So I'm kind of thinking that the water, if it went in here, which I'm sorry, if it went, when it went in there, because it did, water definitely got in here. It basically went about halfway of the PTO shaft, maybe. It essentially touched the PTO shaft. Because it looks like even the PTO bearing, and maybe I just can't see it, but it looks like a lot of the rust kind of just stops. Like the top of the bearing, or not the bearing, the top of the gear isn't really rusted. It's just the lower side has a little bit of surface rust on it. And then obviously the diff does. And there's that shift fork I was talking about. I need a pointing device. So, shift fork right there. There it is. That is your differential lock. That inner spider gear is what locks into these pins. So you can see there is a, wait, I'm trying to get the light right. Oh, there you go, right there. See that little slot made into that spider gear? So those pins are what locks into that spider gear, and that's what essentially stops that side from spinning, which would then lock the whole differential up. Which, like I said, pretty ingenious and solid design. I mean, that could work. Yes, very not the best news, but you know, take it a little bit at a time and clean up as we go, right? It is what it is. Nothing can be easy. Okay, left side. Same thing. All gooed up and everything. Kind of nasty. This one's a little bit different though, because it has this guy hanging out. That is what connects to your rod right there for the heel button thing. That's there, right there by the footwell. Has a spring on it to kind of keep it pushed out. Pretty sure it's keep pushed out. Let's see. Yeah. So yeah, there's that. This one was a little bit more of a pain though, because that shaft for the diff lock was seized in this. Well, I'm sorry, not seized in the axle shaft. It was seized on the arm. So I had to get creative with a brass punch and essentially punch that thing through while trying to jack the diff or the axle housing. It took a little bit of time, but we got it. It's all good. Basically, it's just a fairly tight fit, and rust and tight fits don't work. Yeah, so there's that. Maybe we can get a better look on this side. Oh, there we go. There's the heel. Okay. So it's the one that's essentially going down. They kind of work together, I guess. Yeah. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. That one. This is the brake. I think I was pointing to that one. This is the one that's the four-wheel drive. Yeah, it's the one with the fork. Yes. Fork is four-wheel drive, or the diff lock. The long one is the other brake. It's the left-hand brake. So anyway, yeah, this one was a bit of a pain. But you can see in here, same way, bearing. This one's good though because it looks like it has a carrier that I can unbolt to be able to press in new bearings. So that'll be nice. The other side I'll have to old school it, but should be all right. This side though, this side is definitely worse. I mean, in the sense they're both seized up, but this one seemed like it was worse. So the brakes, you can see how the brake shoes stack up. They just ride on the shaft and go in here, sit there. All is happy. Let's see if I can hit my flashlight right here. This one, I don't know if you can see that well. When it starts pulling up the brake shoes or the brake discs, it seizes, like it stops completely. Meaning, so like, shaft is still loose, but it basically means that this side, like that, the right hand side, the bearings and the axle housing, they're worn or they're seized up and everything. But it seemed like it kind of had a little bit of a play. This one, there is zero play. This side is completely seized. Like it will not move at all on the axle or the shaft or anything. None of the shaft-wise items want to move. Like, not even a little bit. So, basically, long story short, left and right hand axle housings / axles are completely locked up. Judging by the goodness in there, get you a good picture in there. See all that crap? That is sludge and just salt water stuff. Let me hold on one second. All right, this is pretty much a, wipe that off. Pretty much a clean screwdriver. Okay. See if I can get the camera right here. Okay. So this is live action here. I mean, look at that. Ugh. I mean, it is just, that is nasty, guys. Like, that is, I'm just digging it out. That is freaking bad. Now, that's brake material. Yes, it is. But, I mean, it's salt. It's like, salt water definitely got in here. Like 1,000%. I mean, so yeah, this thing, it needs a full go through, full build, essentially, full overhaul. That's what I would call this. It needs a full overhaul. Yep. Still can't get anything else to move though. So I'm thinking the pinion that goes to the diff is somehow locked from up here. But again, if that's the height of the water level, it was essentially about where these two top bolts are. Roughly, that's about where the water level is. Or what I feel like it probably was, just judging on the rust. So if that's the case, I mean, that would tell me then that the upper hydraulics didn't really get affected. It's really just gearing that got affected. If that's the case, okay, cool. My view is I'll split this crap apart, clean everything up well, put some new roller bearings in, free everything up, check the forks up here in the front, free those up, because I'm sure they're probably the same way as everything else, and we can roll on, you know? That's what I'm hoping. But I disconnected the brake. I say that, obviously they're disconnected. You can see the arms there. We disconnected all the brakes and everything. All the brake levers, which everything's pulled apart now, but everything moves nice and free. which is good because I think before they really didn't. So I've sprayed everything down, got everything juiced up, and yeah, it's going. It's definitely going. So, which, you know, I mean, I kind of making all these blowing noises and whatnot. I kind of knew, going into this though, that essentially, you know, the diff was probably going to be a problem. As I said, you know, when we found it, it was in a field. I will attach a picture right now of that. I was able to find that picture so you can see where this thing actually started. I really wish I got some footage of us pulling it out of the field and everything. That was exciting. My dad's Tacoma and trailer and this thing, snatching it out of the weeds. It's pretty cool. But when we walked up to it and saw it for the first time I've seen it in probably 4 years or so. Like when I walked up to it, I think I actually have a picture of that too. I'll put that in. That line was off. The suction line for the hide pump. And I was definitely concerned, for sure, and semi already knowing what the heck is going to happen with this. You know, where home is, it's right on the coast, and in a fairly low-lying area. So storms happen quite a bit, hurricanes and everything, and it's no stranger to get a flooded yard / house and trucks and boats and everything else in the world. I can say personally, I've been in several hurricanes, like my parents and everybody else in my family. Very, very experienced in the whole hurricane thing. So when I saw that, when I was walking up to it, it definitely just kind of went in my head like, okay, well, we're going to have to change all of this. Because there's literally no way that if salt water went in there, that this is going to be okay. But it was a try to, you know, see if we could put some diesel fuel in, flush it out, put some oil in, maybe see if we could free something up. Wasn't really thinking that water would have gotten to the brakes and everything, but I guess kind of makes sense because it's all one system. But yeah, anyway, well, I was kind of hoping that the water really didn't go that high in it. The vent for the transaxle was completely clogged. So I was like, ooh, maybe there's some hope that it created a bit of a pressure vessel in there, and essentially, typically when the water rises like that, it somewhat goes away fairly fast, like within a couple hours. Sometimes. Sometimes not. But, I don't know. There was definitely a hope factor there. And, unfortunately, it seems like the hope factor, didn't really happen. So, it is what it is. Life goes on. I will just tear into it, and basically I'll be a freaking 955 guru after this thing is done. So definitely learned a lot about this thing so far and how they're built and whatnot. Honestly, it's a very impressive tractor. You know, if this thing is an early 90s model, more than likely. I'm thinking like a 92, 94 model. I was thinking it was probably like a 97 or 98, like a late model, but I don't think so. I don't think it's that new. Or that later of model, because like I said, I remember the Christmas that he got it. I think I was probably like around 4 or 5 years old ish. I was a little boy and stuff. And that was, that's probably 30 years ago. So, not to say my age, but, mid-30s. So, yeah. So, anyway, this thing's freaking built like a tank, man. Like I mean, it's kind of like the 455. Sorry, I said it again. The 445. I mean, Deere definitely builds these things to where they are built to last. This one's definitely maybe been neglected a little bit. I don't really want to say that too easily. Like I said, it's one of my idols in life, right? So, but it's definitely been used, and I said my granddad definitely tested it several times in his life, and it's still here. And I have all hopes and confidence, to be honest, that once I get this thing done, I mean, I'll have it for the rest of my life, and probably pass it on to my son, and they'll have it, and on and on and on. Because this thing is definitely, it's built to last for sure. As long as they keep making parts for them, I see nothing but good things out of this. But yeah, so anywho, that's my spiel. That's what happened today. Quite a bit of progress happened. I mean, I look at it as progress. It's definitely could be better news, but it is what it is. I just realized I got some wild hair going on. It's all right. So anyway, we'll kind of wrap this up now. It's kind of probably a remotely boring video, but yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Do appreciate it. Like and subscribe. It helps us out. Maybe grow the channel a little bit, and get. I'm not gonna lie, getting some of that monetizing stuff, so we can really grab some other projects and kind of get going on this stuff. There's some other things in the pipeline I'd like to maybe do. Obviously, the 955 is in work. We got a pretty cool dune buggy over here. Kind of a pretty rare dune buggy, actually. I guess I didn't make very many of them. I think I said in earlier videos, it's one of those to where it's like, I almost look at it like it's like so ugly that it's cool. Yeah. So I like that. It's different. It doesn't look like a regular bug or buggy, whatever you call them. But yeah, I've got that going on. So that'll probably be kind of next in line after the tractor fiasco. Might have some possibly more diesel action. Another thing that my grandfather has might be possibly obtaining somehow is a 79 or 78 International cab over with the 892 T Turbo or T Detroit diesel in it. So that'd be kind of cool. That'd be a heck of a project as well, because kind of the same deal. It's been neglected for several years. He stopped driving probably when I was very young. Actually, yeah. So it probably hasn't seen the road in 25 years. But pretty cool truck. More on the whole truck thing later. We got lots of good stories about trucks. But anywho, do appreciate you guys watching, keeping up with the progress and everything. If there's anything else you guys would like to see in particular, kind of go over, process of, fixing this and that or whatever. How do we do this? Just let us know. Happy to help. So anyway, this is it. We'll check back with you at another date. Later.